very delighted to welcome to our chapter Scientific Supplement Research, Dr. Dr. M.K. Patel ma'am, a correspondent and honorary secretary, Dr. Gautam Silveshwar, and all the faculty members and students. On behalf of Shri Shantivijai College, Kogungal, in association with IQAC, I, Hemapriya, first to the third year week of Accounting and Finance, deems it as a great honor in welcoming each and everyone onto the SHREE Days International Conference on the theme The Global Economic Outlook During COVID-19 Pandemic, a Changed World. We are inviting you to join us for the technical session 2 on economic and global social impact post-COVID. On behalf of each and everyone, I would like to extend a cheerful welcome to our chairperson, Dr. K. Satyanarayan Sir, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, University of Madras, Chennai. It's a great pleasure in having you as a chief guest in today's session, sir. Welcome, sir. Prayer does not limit us to the greatest work. Prayer is the greatest work. So let's start our session with prayer. Now, I request Ms. Sudha ma'am, Assistant Professor, Department of Finance, to render a courteous first guest and towards the meeting. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay. Shall I start?
Welcome.
Good day to everyone present here. I am profusely overjoyed to take the opportunity to introduce our chief guest of the day is none other than Dr. K. Satyanarayan, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, University of Madras, Chennai. Our chairperson, Dr. K. Satyanarayan, is an expert in the subject of marketing. Besides, he is also known for his teaching ground since 18 years. In his research experience, he guided 9 PhD scholars. He has been the part of UGC-sponsored national seminars and orientation course. He published 2 books, What is in the International Conference and referred journals on dynamic global markets and social responsibility. He has been taken a special assignment as Nodal Officer by All India Survey on Higher Education, Government of India from 2011 to 2016. He was acted as co-convener for RUSA 2.0 on Career Counseling Program. Welcome you, sir.
Welcome you, welcome, madam. Welcome. Am I audible there? Yeah, am I audible there?
Thank you, ma'am. Our college deems it as an honor to felicitate our chief guest with a memento of appreciation.
Welcome, sir, for our
Welcome,
three
madam.
days. for our 3 days international conference. We are eagerly waiting for your session, sir. Welcome, sir.
Yes. Good morning to all.
Morning, sir.
Yeah, distinguished Dr. Gautam P. Wadi, Honorary Secretary and Correspondence, GSS Jain College for Women, distinguished Professor M.K. Malati, Principal, GSS Jain College for Women, distinguished Dr. R. Gayatri, Head of the Department, Commerce, distinguished Dr. C. Lakshmi, Head of the Department, Accounting and Finance. I'm deeply honored that I am a part of this today's program where the title goes as Business and Work in Post-Pandemic Future. About a couple of weeks back when Dr. Lakshmi called me and said that is it possible that I can actually think about delivering a lecture on post-pandemic. Of course, we have not yet conquered the coronavirus, COVID-19, but the lessons that the world has learned from the COVID-19 post-pandemic is abundant. And particularly, I like the way that the college is coming out with a classic title on business and work in the post-pandemic future, which is considered to be very important and essential in the today's world, because including the small companies, mid-sized companies, and Fortune 500 companies, you can find out that everyone is seeking a solution for the problem in the post-pandemic. But as the world keep on going, in spite of the several important uncertainties that is happening, every time we are learning some kind of a lesson. But the post-pandemic lessons is something very unique, where everyone is thinking about how to come out with this kind of, how to come out the problem, and in what way we can conquer, and in what way we can contribute to the society and to the organization in particular. So when the title has been given as a business and work in a post-pandemic, I had my own hesitation that in what way I'm going to give my presentation, for the simple reason we cannot give a storytelling, because many of the research is still going on, including the research which has been submitted by the World Health Organizations as well as the United Nations, etc. Now, many of the organizations and institutions throughout the world are still continuing the research work that in what way the organization can contribute best in the post-pandemic. When the research is going on means I cannot tell you the story, or I cannot build up my own kind of viewpoints which may not be considered as a vital one. So what I thought is that to bring out some important essential points and share some of the important research contributed by the leading institutions in the world, which are all basically focusing on consulting. So my presentation is going to be completely on the basis of what the business is all about in the post-pandemic and how the work is going to be in the post-pandemic future. Now, when we are talking about, I think I can move to the next slide. Am I audible there, madam? Am I audible there? Am I audible?
Yes, sir. You are audible, sir.
Yeah. Is the image is visible there, madam?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Okay. Now, when you're talking about the COVID-19 crisis, which completely shocked the world in 2019 end and still continuing. In 2019 December, where the WHO come out with the warning that something is going to happen in the world, which is going to be an unprecedented one. But we never thought about it, that the kind of a magnitude of the problem that we will be facing. But finally, we have faced several important struggles in the year 2020. And in the 2021, we thought that the entire world will be more peaceful, but it did not happen in such a way because of the Delta variant of the virus. Now, this shows that how, with this kind of a crisis, the organization should build up their sustainability factor, and in what way the organization should equip their work culture in order to meet up this kind of the unprecedented level. When you're talking about the crisis, we are now in the COVID-19 crisis. But the research is saying that when you want to know about the crisis, we can say that certain important crises are being recorded in the research. For example, in the 1930s to 1950s, the oil embargo companies created a kind of a crisis for the United States of America, where for many years, the Federal Bank of the United States of America completely kept the interest rates very high, where the American economy find it very difficult to manage that. But in the Second World War, everyone thought that the crisis will be very high, but unexpectedly, the world countries overcome the economic crisis just like that after the Second World War. And in the 1992, the Japan real estate bubble created a great havoc in the Japanese economy, which also reflected in the Asian countries, was another important crisis to be recorded here. And in the 2007 to 2019, the American economy faced some important crisis in the financial sector. Now, these are all the important points that I want to share you in a very brief manner when we are talking about the crisis. But what is an important lesson is that in spite of the crisis, whether it is going to be the Second World War or in the case of the Great Depression or in the case of the real estate bubble burst by the Japan, etc., the world has overcome it and moved to the other important area in a very swift manner. Like that, we are actually thinking to overcome the COVID-19 crisis too. So I made up my presentation on the two important categories. The first one will all be focusing on what is the essential and what we have to do as an important strategy. So I have splitted my presentation in two ways, in two halves. One that will be focusing on the business stability, and other is that what is the kind of a skill set required for the workers, or otherwise in the future generation, what are all the important skill set that is to be equipped in order to have a good work in the company. Now, if you want to have more of a discussion for it, let me move to the next important slide, which is saying that capability building challenges. Now, what is a capability building challenges means? Here you can find out that in-person, on-the-job capability building has become dramatically more difficult. For the simple reason is that many of the people are losing the job for the simple reason that the company is not in a position to continue its production. Second is that there is no an adequate demand for the products in the market, or otherwise the financial conditions are so poor that the organization is not in a position to re-equip itself. These are all the kind of challenges. On the other side, you can also find out that remote learning experiences must deliver the skill employee needs, that what it is to be considered on the behavior of on the performance, and ultimately it should also improve. Now, with this kind of the capability building challenges, what are the important lessons we are learning means? The challenges are always there. We are not saying that there is no a challenge. Challenge is always there. Now the challenge is all about that how a COVID-19 crisis have actually created. For example, if you are trying to take about the COVID-19 crisis, which created in the which was actually shook the world in 2020, was completely taken up the world where the economic performance indicators were very poor. So at that time, the government is considered to be the important last resort, and the government came forward. The all the governments I'm talking about, the governments in the various countries came forward. They helped the various organizations as well as their citizens, and it's now it is to be considered that the government is considered to be the last resort for this kind of the in this kind of the challenges. Now, when you're talking about the capability building challenges, how the organizations are treating the capability building challenges, that is more important. In one of the research published by the McKinsey, it is saying that the business capacity building should be more in the terms of before and after the COVID-19 crisis. You can find out that the capability building to the organization for the long-term growth. That means even though there is an pandemic crisis, but still the organization should keep on moving out. So when the organization should keep on moving out means what it is to be understood and how we can know that the world organizations are really moving up well. Now this particular survey was conducted by the McKinsey group, where it is particularly for the C-suite executives and the senior managers who are all involving in the high level of the decision making. You can find out that basically among the four important items such as not at all or a slightly or moderately or very extremely, before and after 19 crisis. So before COVID-19 crisis, when the organizations been asked about what does the business capability building means, that is about 12%. They said that they are in the what I can say that they are not at all thinking about it or probably slightly thinking about it. Now in the currently it has been what it is to be said that it has been reduced, but very extremely important when compared to the previous, that is before COVID-19, it is only 59%. But now all the 78% of the organizations are thinking that the business capability building is very, very important, particularly after the COVID-19. This itself is giving you a clear-cut idea that the companies are thinking about in what way they can overcome this kind of a crisis, or otherwise how they can become more of adaptability to this kind of the uncertainty kind of a situation. The next slide will give you a kind of an idea that how an organizational capability priority can be built off. Now, this particular in this particular survey, the matrix is saying that we have targeted a set of capabilities to build. That means 34% of the companies are saying that they have targeted to set of capabilities of building. So, and 28% are saying that they have begun the discussion on the priority capabilities to build, and 16% are saying that they begin to build, if not at all, on the priority capabilities, and 6% are saying that they don't know, and 9% we have not discussed capability to build up a plan of this year. And the next is all about we discuss the next year and we do not have the plan to build these kind of the capabilities. But this is not important. But what you have to understand is that the 45% they don't know that have a clear plan to building the high priority capabilities, which is actually saying that the rest of the percentage are building or focusing on the capability building, that is the business capability building. Now, what are the areas we can actually think about the business capability building means? They are thinking about the areas on how they can improvise the technology. For example, they are ensuring that the technology should be a prominent one, and the dependence of the human being should come down with the help of the artificial intelligence. On the other side, they are thinking about in what ways they can improvise the supply sides and in what way they can improvise the delivery standards, etc. For example, if you try to take about the important data provided by the Amazon, which is saying that the Amazon delivery system has improvised by more than 78%, for the simple reason is that the people are shopping more through the online. So the companies which are thinking about the conventional mode of shopping, they should attach themselves to this kind of the online retailing platform where the opportunities are more for the growth. And even in the case of the companies such as the Reliance or the Tatas, etc., or even in the case of the companies which have not thought about the e-tailing, etc., are now thinking about the e-tailing. So in the case of the deliveries, whether it is the case of the C2C or B2B, whatever that matter, they are thinking about the what I can say that the deliveries all through the online site. And even in the case of the Tatas, now they are developing the super app, which is actually considered to be one of the important pivotal move in the industry, which will give you a kind of a sync that what are all the products available from the Tata groups and how that particular products can be delivered and in what mode it will be delivered. Everything will be completely given up. Now, in the case of the organizational capability priority, it is also moving up to the important level in the terms of the economy. For example, how we can go more of a green and how we can create this planet more versatile where the human beings can live more of a in a more of a healthy condition. So these are all the important informations that comes to our discussion in the terms of the organizational capability priority. Now, to go further, we have to think about the building employee skills. Now, what is building employee skills? Because when you're talking about the skill set means there are three important types of a skill set. One is all about the technology skill set. Second is all about the human skill set. And the third is all about the conceptual skill set. But the COVID-19 pandemic, that is a post-pandemic, has come out with an important skill set, which is all on the basis of the contracting, redeploying, and hiring. Now, this particular skill set, which is based on the contracting, redeploying, and hiring, is also an important information for the future job seekers, that they will be either in coming under the contracting level, they will be coming under the redeploying level, or they will be coming under the hiring level. For example, what is the contracting? Hereafter, in the post-pandemic, the Fortune 500 companies as well as the other important top companies participated in the survey created by the one of the important consulting company has said that the employee skills will be tested on the base of the contracting, redeploying, and the hiring. So first of all, we have to understand what is basically a contracting. Now, in the case of the contracting, it is all about you will be hired for a certain job for a certain time period. So in this case, you should be highly equipped and you will be paid very high, so that instead of keeping up you for for a certain years, for example, if the company is selecting you at the age of a 25 and allowing you to retire at the age of a 60, so it is not going to happen. It is all on the basis of the contracting. So your skill set should match with the company's expectancy. At the same time, when you are coming under the contracting level, your job or otherwise your payment will be very high. It will be super high, where instead of you are earning a monthly kind of a salary for several years, you will be paid for a certain years on the basis of the contracting level. Now, this is what an important discussion that the many of the top line companies are thinking about it. Redeploying. What do you think about redeploying? For example, if you are associated as an engineer in the assembly line, probably the company will be asking you to go for some other area of a shift in the same kind of a manufacturing. So redeploying is going to happen in a very common way in the case of the post pandemic. For example, if you are associated in the administration, you will be appointed in the HR, and over a period of a time, you will be shifted to an accounts, and over a period of a time, you will be shifted to what I can say that the marketing, and over a period of a time, you will be shifted to a operations, etc. Now, this shows that the redeploying is going to happen within the organization, or the redeploying going to happen within the department. So you should equip yourself in a such a way that how you are coping up with the redeploying. And hiring for a specific job. For example, if you are strong in artificial intelligence, they will hire you. If you are strong in a digital marketing, they will hire you. If you are strong in the what I can say that in the case of the HR analytics, they will hire you. So it is going to be very specific from the company's viewpoint where the hiring is going to happen. Even though we are saying that the hiring is a common term, but you have to associate that the hiring will be as a temporary one, but it will give you a kind of an opportunity which will be completely on the basis of the cognitive skills as well as the job satisfaction, etc. Now, this is what the company is all expecting as a job seeker in the post-pandemic. After finishing up your course, if you are thinking about the job seeking means, you have to understand that a year after, the companies will be focusing the job on the basis of the contracting levels, redeploying levels, and the hiring levels. Now, further, when we are going for the discussion, we can say that what it is basically expected from your side. That means as a job seeker, what the companies are expecting from your side. So the company is saying that they are not only expecting the technical skill, human skill, and the conceptual skill, but apart from that, in the post-pandemic, they are thinking that how far you are strong in the digital aspect, and how far you are strong in the cognitive aspect, and how far you are strong in the social and emotional aspect, and finally how far you are strong in the adaptability and resilience level. Now, if you are asking me a question that sir, what is basically a digital or a cognitive or a social, emotional, or adaptability and resilience? See, the consulting companies, when they ask the question to the senior managers, particularly when the managers who are involving in hiring, redeploying, and what I said it earlier, it's all about, they said that year after, the job is all going to be on the basis of the digital aspect. For example, you can, with the help of the digital aspect, you can pretty assume that how the consumer is going to behave in the future, or in what way the customer support is going to be. You can think about that how the employees will be working, and whether the employee is really going to continue with your organization or not, or otherwise in what way you are thinking that the performance is going to be measured. The performance is going to be measured in everyday basis, or the performance is going to be measured in the terms of what I can say that yearly basis. So these are all the important things that is also going to come. And the next important aspect in the case of the digital perspective is that you can stay home and work in the home itself, where it gives you a kind of an opportunity where you are staying along with your family members and continuing the work for the organization. This is the general perspective of the digital. The cognitive cases is all about that how you are strong in breaking up the problems or cracking the problems and coming out with the solution. I'm not going to go very deep into it. And the next one is the social and emotional. So how far you are strong in the emotional and the social capacity, and how you are working in a group, and how you are strong in the team. As a manager, how you are converting the group into a team. These are all considered to be the social and emotional. And the last one is the adaptability and resilience. That means under the pressure, under the new working circumstances, and under the what I can say the constant transfers within the organizations, how far you are adaptable and resilience are all counting. I'm sorry. Now, the point to be understood here is that we are not into the meanings or definition of the digital, cognitive, social, emotional, or adaptability and resilience. But when these are all being given as an important standard in the questionnaire, it was understood that the social and emotional standards are considered to be the number one for the companies when they are seeking, when they are recruiting the candidates. And second, they are thinking about the adaptability and resilience. And third only comes as a digital one. So this shows that even though the digital, cognitive, social, emotional, adaptability, resilience are pretty important, but the social and emotional plays a vital role. So when you are being joining in an organization, you must ensure that you are strong in the social and emotional factors. Then comes the adaptability and resilience. Got it? Okay. So first we saw what is the business capability building, and next we saw what is the expectations from the companies in order to expect from the skill set, and we discussed about the skills required, and now we are all thinking about the skill building. So here what it is saying that the skill building is more prevalent than it was prior to the pandemic, with 69% of the organization doing more skill building now than they did before the COVID-19 crisis. Now, it is also our responsibility to understand what is a skill building. Now, in one of the important research, it was found out that there were about 27 skill set were being given. And in that 27 skill set, the three important priorities were created, and that is being considered as a skill building by the majority of the organization. So after finishing up your UG courses or after finishing up your PG courses, if you are thinking about the building the skills means, you can think about the three important aspects. One is the social and emotional skills, second is advanced cognitive skills, and third is technology skills. Now, you pretty know about what is the social and emotional skills which will be applied when you are working along with the fellow colleagues. And advanced cognitive skills means which is all based on the basis of how far you are predicting the certain important standards along with the high level of the computing. And the third is the technology skills which will be dragging from the lower level to the higher level. Now, I don't want to read some of the important outcomes of the research, but I will be selecting certain few. For example, if you are thinking about the leadership and managing others means, you can find out that it is dragging from 40% to 50%, which will be in the social and emotional skill. And again, the interpersonal skills and empathy, you can find out that it is higher in the terms of 20% to 40%. Whereas if you are trying to take about the advanced cognitive skills, what they are thinking means it's all about the critical thinking and decision making. And they are thinking about the quantitative and the statistical skills. So what you have to understand is that certain important quantitative factors, even though you people are equipping in the MHRM, but a certain important quantitative and statistical skills are required. And the last one is the technological one, where they are thinking about the basic digital skills in the artificial intelligence, and they are also thinking about the advanced IT skills and programming. So the companies year after in the post-pandemic, what they're going to expect is that how you are strong in the leadership and leadership skills and managing others, and how far you are strong in the basic digital skills, and how far you are strong in the quantitative and statistical skills. So these are all the important areas where you can think about it, where it is not that it is a must or it is an essential, but the research is saying that in case if you are really excelling in all these kind of the skills, the chances are brighter that you will be selected in the organization. In the case of the skill transformation, you can find out that basically the skills transformations are being identified as a scout, shape, and shift. The details I want to present here is that, for example, in the case of the scout, the workforce planning to assess the potential skill gaps. So this is taking place from the part of the company, and it is also more important that you are also understanding that how far you will be fitting into this kind of the three important concepts. For example, in this scout, the workforce planning to assess the potential skill gaps. For example, I will read it one, assessing the demand and the need for a specific skill in the future. So what is going to be the specific skill? You have to understand about that and you have to fit along with that. Second one is all about the shape, developing the skill strategy to ensure that the workforce is a future ready. So in that case, again, you should ensure that you are basically future ready along by equipping the skill set. And the third one is all about the shift, that is reimagine the infrastructure for skilling at a scale. For example, launching a skilling hub or other organizational structure, it's all about dedicated to learning. So in that case, it is saying that it is all about 28%. Whereas in the case of designing a portfolio initiative to close the skill gap, it is actually contributing to 43%. Whereas in the case of assessing the demand and the need for the specific skills in the future, it is actually contributing to the 58%. Though it is a priority for the organization, but it is also important that you are fitting into the scout, fitting into the shape, and fitting into the shift. And some of the important interesting fact, which I actually considering that it is worthy to sharing, is all about that the post pandemic is going to have the three important shifting gears. What is the all about means acceleration, reversal, and interruption. For example, if you are trying to think about the e-groceries, that means the Flipkart, or in the case of the Zomato is also coming with the e-groceries, then Big Basket. These are all the examples of e-groceries. Now the acceleration is going to be very high. You can find out that the line which is crossing in a very lengthy order, where the acceleration is going to be very, very high. Now, what is the definition of the acceleration? For example, the consumer behavior that shifted in response to the COVID-19 will continue at the higher levels. So we have identified that the e-grocery term started, including Fipola, etc., is started in a very high level, and that will continue in a very, very high level. So if you are thinking, is there any opportunity, means yes, in the e-grocery level, the business opportunities will be very high. And a virtual healthcare is also growing up, and it will also grow very high. So if you are doing any specialized courses in the virtual healthcare, that will be helping you a lot, because hereafter it is going to be in the acceleration level. And in the case of the reversal, means the virus, the virus reversed some behaviors such as investing in the home, which has been declining before the pandemic, and it is now here to stay. That means you have to understand that this reversal kind of a system is not actually there, or probably it is less than that, but now it will be there till the pandemic is continuing. Now in this case, till we have the possible solution to overcome the COVID-19 completely, you can find out that the reversal kind of concept will be there. Now what we can actually think about the reversal means, we can think about the home nesting. For example, one of the important studies is saying that many people in America started investing in the home gym for in order to ensure that they are staying healthy and fit. And even in the case of the many important health apps in India, particularly CureFit, or in the case of the healthify.com, has received the maximum kind of a subscription in the pandemic times, when was not being considered that much before the pandemic. Got it. And in the case of the interruption, you can find out that the interruption is going to be the remote education, leisure air travel. It's not a business air travel, it's a leisure air travel and entertainment. So interruption is all about, it is going to be completely a new one, which was not even thought about that in earlier. For example, in the case of the entertainment, that is depending upon the theaters or visiting the theaters is going to be coming down, whereas it is all going to be on the basis of a direct live or a direct relay, where the Netflix or in the case of Amazon Prime is all I'm going to do. Then the remote education will be an important strategy by the companies or by the educational institutions, where you can learn up many important courses hereafter. That means in the future, by staying, that is not visiting the campuses, by what I can say that in a digital format. That means you can actually take up the courses in online. So these are all the important, interesting facts. And finally, so you can find out that in the earlier I said I started my discussion that it is all about in the case of the pandemic, there is no hope, and it is all about close down. And now we know that how to do the business, and this has given that kind of an opportunity for us, or the hope for us. Now the business is open. Now, my dear friends, what it is the important is that even in the case of you can find out that the business throughout the world have met a kind of a disastrous effect in 2020. But the second wave, when hit the England first and started dominating the other important countries, including India. But we are able to apply the contingency plan, and we are able to overcome the kind of what I can say is that the difficulties, and now we are slowly making it more of a stable, along with the help of the government and other important institutional setups. Now this is giving us a hope that even in the case of the crisis, we can come out. So, my dear friends, I think I have delivered a kind of an expectations in the terms of the business, as well as in the case of the work skills, etc. I have completely relied on the research report, because instead of giving out a kind of what I can say that my own imagination, that you have to do this, you have to do that, or otherwise you have to equip in this way or equip in that way. It is better that I am sharing the research reports, which are all being shared, which are all being deeply consulted, or which are all being rigorously discussed by the top teams in the consultancy company. So I have given out the figures which are all going to be important now, and which is going to be important in the future too. So I'm not saying that what I'm given will be the ultimate or is the ultimate, but I have actually given you a kind of slight information which will be considered important when you are equipping yourself on the basis of the skill set, or the companies which are actually want to make up the capability building on the basis of the new capacities. Thank you very much, my dear friends. So is there any other questions? I can take it up from you, my dear friends. Is there any questions from students or from participants? Yeah, Gayatri madam, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, I finished my
Yes,
presentation,
sir.
madam. I will be
Yes, sir.
welcoming some important questions.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are. It is open for this question session, sir. I have already. Sir, they are asking for suggestions in which field will be profitable after this COVID pandemic.
No,
Which
actually,
field or
which
which
field means basically you must be very curious about in which area or which field you're going to seek a job. For example, some may think the marketing is not a kind of a job. For others, it will be the marketing will be more interesting. So like that, you try to understand that in what way, whether you're going to join in the administrative service, or you're going to join in the marketing, or you're going to join in a HR or an account or in a finance or operations like that. But whatever the function you are taking, the future organizations are expecting that you should equip yourself on once again, I will show the slide. You should equip yourself on social and emotional skills. I'm sorry, social and emotional skills, advanced cognitive skills, and technical skills.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And they are asking one more. They are posting one more question, sir. How the small scale sector has been affected due to COVID pandemic?
Can you repeat the question, madam? How?
How the small scale sector has been affected due to COVID pandemic?
See, actually, small scale companies are affected massively. But at the same time, since the small scale is being protected by the government, as well as the government is providing various kind of the financial aids and other important, what to say that other important facilities, the small scale companies are actually think about rebounding. But at the same time, it all depends upon the individual spirit. Unless otherwise, if you're not having the individual spirit, you cannot think about again what I can say that rebounding. So rebounding is possible, and the small scale industry, though it is affected massively into 2020, but we are finding out a certain important relief sign in 2021. So we have to think about it by taking up much more of a time from now.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative, sir. Very informative. Thank you for giving more knowledge to our students, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you for giving us an enlightening session, sir. No duty is more important than of returning thanks. Now, I request Dr. Indupriya ma'am, Assistant Professor of Commerce, to propose the vote of thanks.
Okay, before the vote of thanks, is that possible that I can get a feedback from the participants?
Yes, sir. It will be in that live itself, live stream. It will be there, sir. Already. Comment
Uh,
box. It will be there, sir.
where, madam? Where it is?
Comment box. General likes and other things. It will be there. The comment box. Comments.
Okay, so far I am receiving only the wishes. Good morning, good morning, like that. Aarti has given me a very informative session, and others are saying thanks, sir. Uh, is that possible that you can allow your students, madam, to pass the feedback about the lecture?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will post next.
Yeah,
They will
because they
receive.
are the ultimate
Yes,
beneficiaries.
sir. Yes, sir. Beneficiaries, definitely, sir.
So Jayalakshmi is saying very informative speech. Is there anything I can receive as a critical one, a critical feedback?
Definitely not, sir. It was very informative. That's why.
Okay. Right. Okay, madam. That's fine. And yes, yes, Hema Priya has given the session was excellent, sir. Okay, that's fine. Okay. So most of see actually I have depended upon the reports produced by McKinsey, and I've used the reports of the McKinsey.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
the
They
college
will be
is
the beneficial. They will be getting benefit. They will be getting benefits out of it, sir. Definitely. They'll be viewing more
so
through YouTube, sir. Definitely.
yes, Bhakya Lakshmi has given an excellent session. That's good. Okay, thank you very much, my dear friends. Yes, madam, you can continue.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good morning to one and all. It's my huge pleasure to take the opportunity to convey the vote of thanks. I firstly thank the Almighty whose blessing has led to the successful conclusion of the session. I convey our heartfelt thanks to our respectable chairperson, Dr. K. Satyanarayan Sir, Associate Professor, Department of Management Studies, University of Madras, for accepting our invitation and giving us such a gracious information on the business and work in post-pandemic future. And I also extend my gratitude to our principal, Dr. M.K. Malati Madam, our honorable correspondent, Dr. Gautam P. Vaid Sir, for the support. I also extend my thanks to Dr. Gayatri Ma'am, Head Department of Commerce, and Dr. Lakshmi Ma'am, Head Department of Accounting and Finance, and IQAC, Coordinator Shift 1, for the effort in arranging this 3-day international program and being a pillar in every moment during this session. I also express my special thanks to all the faculty members and students community from various colleges and other universities. I finally convey my heartfelt thanks to all the staff coordinators and the students coordinators. Thank you all, sir.
Thank you, madam. Shall I leave the studio?
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity given.
Thank you, sir. It was an excellent session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.